What's going on, Miami Dolphins fans? Welcome back to the Fins Up Network. It's Ben Morgan, and in today's player profile, I'm going to focus on newly acquired Dolphins running back Chase Edmonds. And since he is brand new to the team, we're going to take a look at exactly what it is that he brings to the table and how we may see him used in this Mike McDaniel-led offense. But before we jump in, I want to hear your thoughts on the Dolphins running back room in general. How do you want to see the carries distributed? Who do you want to see making the roster? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you are subscribing. Stay on top of everything going on with the Fins Up Network. But let's start today with a breakdown of Chase Edmonds' game, what exactly it is that he brings to the Miami Dolphins running back room. Because in my opinion, Chase Edmonds is probably the best example of a do-it-all type of running back that the Dolphins currently have. He's got solid speed. He's got good vision. He's got the physicality to break tackles. And he's a pretty good pass catcher as well. And I stole these upcoming numbers from PFF because I think they tell a little bit of the picture from last year. But last year, Chase Edmonds set career highs with 16 missed tackles forced, show some elusiveness, 341 rushing yards after contact, being able to break off that first defender and keep going and making yards after contact, and 19 carries of 10 plus yards. So some big playability as well. That's all great and everything, but the issue so far throughout his career is that he hasn't been able to put it together over long stretches, over a couple of different seasons, and truly prove that he can become a team's bell cow running back, at least so far during his time when he was at Arizona. But that might not be terrible news, because the good thing is that he has found some pretty decent success in that running back by committee type of approach. And that's essentially how I see this Dolphins running back situation shaking out in 2022. But let's put it this way. Since he is, in my opinion, the most do-it-all type of running back, it's my assumption that day one, he's the lead candidate to start at running back for the Miami Dolphins. But it may come down to the Dolphins being a little bit more of playing running backs based on situations because of the running backs that they have on this roster and being in that running back by committee approach. Keep in mind, you've got Raheem Mostert, a speed guy who can also catch. You've got Sony Michel, good in short yardage, goal line situations, good in pass blocking. And then look at the other guys too. Ahmed, Gaskin, Doaks, ZaQuandre White. All of these guys, they're not do-it-all type running backs, but they all kind of have their niche as to what they're good at. So it really has the makings of that running back by committee approach. But Chase Edmonds has a few things that work in his favor and why I think he'll really be the lead guy. He's got history in the zone blocking scheme, which is what we're expecting to see from the Mike McDaniel-led offense. And don't forget, Mike McDaniel has seen Chase Edmonds twice per year, because with obviously Chase Edmonds being at Arizona, Mike McDaniel being with the 49ers, divisional opponents see him twice a year. So let's make that point go into the next point that I'm going to make here, because think back now to earlier in the offseason. It's legal tampering period leading up to free agency. Chase Edmonds was the top guy, one of the top guys on the radar, a guy that they wanted to sign right away. He was the first one that it became official. They signed him. And I'm pretty confident that a huge reason for that, for him being the priority that he was, is because Mike McDaniel saw him during his time with the 49ers and with Edmonds being with the Cardinals, saw what he could do on the field and said, you know what, if I had a guy like that, this is how I could utilize him. This is how I could make my offense go when he is the lead running back. So that's a huge thing that he has going for him. But now look at his outlook heading into this season. If you would have put Chase Edmonds on the Dolphins roster anywhere within the last 2 to 3 years, I would tell you straight up that I don't think Chase Edmonds is going to do that much, because he's not that generational type, awesome, can't miss running back that's going to make a below average offensive line look good and run for 1,200 plus yards and 10 touchdowns. That's not who he is. But think about how valuable a guy like Chase Edmonds is as a capable running back, a guy that has done it in the past. Now that the Dolphins have added Terron Armstead, now that they've added Connor Williams, and most importantly, they added a former run game coordinator as their head coach. Mike McDaniel has been involved in offenses that run the ball a lot. I'm not breaking news there. but they also run the ball creatively. It's not simply snap the ball to the quarterback, turn around, give the ball to the running back. It's creative stuff. It's tosses to the running back who immediately cut back to the middle of the field. It's offensive linemen pulling across the entire formation. It's the inclusion of a fullback. We don't see that from many offenses, but we're going to see that this year. Take it another step further. It's guys constantly going in motion pre-snap and maybe even getting the handoff, or at least creating the diversion, creating the appearance that they're going to get the ball while the actual guy that gets the ball is going the other way of where that diversion led him to. So a couple of things. One, there's no way that the Dolphins' run game won't improve in 2022 compared to what it's been the last few years. But two, if it doesn't improve, and if it doesn't improve drastically, the odds are that we're not really going to see this high-flying offense that's being currently sold to us by the national media, because we're actually getting a little bit of pub from the national media right now. And Tyreek's putting out podcasts weekly, if not even more than that, just pumping up this offense and telling us how good it's going to be. But it's not going to be there if this running game isn't at least respectable. And forcing defenses to respect this run game is going to be important for this offense to work at its full capacity. Think about it this way. Even if the run game can rank like in the top 15 to 20, imagine what that threat, what that respect level is going to do for Tua in the passing game, for the use of play action. So I expect drastic improvement in this run game. I expect Chase Edmonds to lead the team in both carries and rushing yards. I expect, if you look at which running back is going to lead the team in receiving yards, I would say it's probably between Edmonds and Mostert. And touchdowns are anyone's best guess. But odds are, end of the season, Chase Edmonds is probably going to have his name pretty high in that statistical category as well. But that's what I've got for today's video, Dolphins fans. Like I mentioned, give me your thoughts in the comments below as well. How do you see that Dolphins running back room shaking out? And if you haven't done so already, make sure you are getting subscribed. But that's what I've got for today, Miami Dolphins fans. Until next time, Fins